Good morning, this beautiful morning, and welcome to Idea TV newspaper review for the morning. It's a beautiful morning right here, and we're still in the spirit of Christmas. So I would say from me to you, a Merry Christmas to you once again, and Happy Boxing Day this beautiful morning. My name is Mary Ojumajo, and today we're going to be taking the newspaper headlines for the morning. All right, let's dive into the first newspaper we have today on our newspaper review for the morning, and that's on the Nation's newspaper. Let's see the stories that we have on the Nation's newspaper for the morning. All right, for the first story we have on the Nation's newspaper, we have Pope seeks peace, justice in war-torn community. Wow, and that story you will see on page 2 of the Nation's newspaper for the morning. We also have 25-story Great Nigerian Insurance House for demolition, and that story you see on page 3 of the Nation's newspaper for the morning. We also have poor electricity supply in Lagos, others likely to linger, and that is on page 3 of the Nation's newspaper for the morning. And we also have another story on page 3 of the Nation's newspaper. We have 6 Zamfara PDP lawmakers dumped party for APC. 6 Zamfara PDP lawmakers dumped party for APC, and that story you see on same page 3 of the Nation's newspaper for the morning. And we have on our big story, Nigerian US hit terrorists in Northwest. Nigerian US hit terrorists in Northwest. That is a big story for the morning, and that you will see on page 2 of the Nation's newspaper for the morning. If you have a little bit of time, you go to the letter of appreciation from our president. If you have a little bit of time, you go through it and read it through. All right, before we take you through the next newspaper for the morning, we have an interesting story we want to put out there, and that is explosion reported in Sokoto community. Okay. Residents of Jabu village in Tambawa local government area of Sokoto state were thrown into panic on Thursday yesterday, Christmas Day night, following a loud explosion suspected to be caused by an explosive device. Eyewitness said the incident occurred suddenly with a suspected explosive allegedly landing in the community. Fortunately, no casualty was recorded, as the device reportedly did not explode within a crowd. A resident of the area who confirmed the incident said the object fell unexpectedly, raising fear among villagers who initially mistook the sound for an attack. It happened suddenly in the night. The explosion caused fear, but thank God it did not land among people, the source said. That is another story on that one. All right, let's take you through another interesting story you will want to read about philanthropist distribution foodstuff to 250 Jigawa widows. In this Christmas season, we hear distribution here and there. It's a season of love, a season of celebration, and that is why we're having this story brought to you. No fewer than 250 Christmas widows in Jigawa State received food items and a bowl as Christmas support from local philanthropist Dr. Halima Suleiman in a gesture amidst at easing hardship and promoting unity in the states. The donation coincided with the Christmas celebration on Thursday yesterday, providing timely relief to beneficiaries during the festive season. Speaking with while receiving the item on Wednesday in Duse, the state capital, the deputy chairperson of the Widow Women Wing Association of Nigeria under the Christian Association of Nigeria Jigawa State Chapter, Miss Happiness Florence described the intervention as timely. All right, that is an exciting one there. In a season of love where you get to share with your friends, your family, and of course, your well-wishers. Make sure you're sharing this love because it's Christmas, and Christmas needs to be celebrated in a healthy and a happy environment. For those that do not have, make sure to distribute to them. Make sure to reach out to thousands of people, not just your family member. Reach out to a friend that would also reach out to a friend. It's a season where we put smiles in people's face and make sure you are part of that. All right, reading that story now, let's go next to our newspaper that we have for this morning, and that is on the Daily Trust. Let's see what we have on the Daily Trust newspaper for the morning. All right, we have on some of our relating story, we have 2 killed, many injured in Lagos tanker explosion. And that story you will see on the Nation's newspaper on page 14 of the Nation's newspaper. We have another relating story, stakeholders set agenda for new oil sector regulatory chiefs. And that story is on page 27 of the Daily Trust newspaper for the morning. We have on our big story, peaceful Christmas nationwide. What do you think? Peaceful Christmas nationwide. That's an amazing one. We have also another story on page 5. We have Bronu mocks blast. Bronu mocks blast. I watched Worshipper fall, Iman said. Wow, that is a big one on that. That is a big one on that. Okay, it's a peaceful Christmas from here. It's a peaceful Christmas from Abuja here. I don't know the state you're in celebrating your Christmas. I want to hear from you, and that is when we will say that you should send us your thoughts, your comments. We want to hear from you. We want to know how you are celebrating the Christmas and how would you do this. You would achieve this by following us on all our social media platforms at Idea Television. Send us your thought and your comment. Tell us how you celebrated the Christmas. We want to hear from you. We want to know what is happening in your location that you are in. All right, before we take you through the last story that we have for you this morning, because it's an holiday season and a Christmas season, let's go on a quick short break, and when we return, we're sure to give you the rest of the stories.
Number 1, synthetic biology advances. Synthetic biology is pushing science into new territory. Using AI-guided gene editing, researchers are engineering organisms to produce biofuels, biodegradable plastics, and even synthetic meat. In 2023, Ginkgo Bioworks announced partnerships to design microbes that can manufacture sustainable chemicals at scale. Moderna and BioNTech are expanding mRNA technology beyond COVID vaccines to treat cancer and rare genetic diseases. The global synthetic biology market is expected to surpass $30 billion by 2030. By 2026, the line between biology and technology will blur even further, making synthetic biology one of the most transformative fields of the decade. So there you have it, 15 more technologies that, alongside the first 17 we covered, are set to define 2026. Together, they show how quickly innovation is moving beyond our screens and into every corner of our life, from the materials we use to the way we connect and even how we think. And if you missed part 1, make sure to check it out next. If you made it this far, let us know what you think in the comment section below. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. All right, about giving you the last story that we have on the Punch newspaper for the morning. Okay, let's go straight to the Punch newspaper and give you the story that we have. Bronu bomb blast spark heightened security nationwide, and that is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. We have tax law mismatched polls, serious risks, CTIN wants, and that's on page 21 of the Punch newspaper for the morning. We have Christmas, governors, APC, Saraki, preach tolerance. That's an interesting story that you will love to go through, and that's on page 27 of the Punch newspaper for the morning. And we have NNPC directors pay soar 58% to 4 billion naira. And that story you will see on page 10 of the Punch newspaper for the morning. On our big story on the Punch, we have Anambra, Enugu, Kano lead in education funding. And that you see on page 2 of the big story that we have for the morning. That is on 2026 budget. Anambra, Enugu, Kano leading education funding, page 2 of the Punch newspaper for the morning. Okay, let's take the relating stories that we have here. We have 7,900 inmates pardoned in 3 years, and that's what we see on page 7. We also have Christmas Day tanker explosion claims 2 lives in Lagos. And that you will see on page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. And then for the last story, we have FG reshuffled NCAA distributors amidst corruption allegation. And that story you see on page 20 of the Punch newspaper for the morning. All right, and that is all we have for you on our Idea TV newspaper review for the morning. We hope you enjoyed the newspaper review this morning. It's still the holidays. All right, my name remains Mary Ojumajo, and thank you for staying with us.